Amazing day today, realising a dream and that getting to taste 5 vintages of a project wine that I started many years ago. I've actually never done this tasting. I've opened magnums of these sporadically for friends over the years and they've always looked fantastic. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the first vintage, which is a blend of 2004 Napa Valley Cabernet, 2005 Barossa Valley Shiraz. I've never actually seen it before where people have blended 2 varietals but from 2 separate continents, and I think that's what's such a fascinating thing about this project. So we're going to really look at the 5 vintages so far. We're only able to label it as a non-vintage, but what we did is this is a blend of 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, then we blended the same vintage, so 2008, 2009 and 2010. So the wine is 50% Barossa Valley Shiraz, 50% Napa Valley Cabernet. Logistical nightmare. We decided early on that we were only ever going to bottle this in Magnum and we were never going to send it out to press. It was really something that we just wanted to make small volumes of, and it's been commercially very successful. So what I really wanted to display today after tasting the 5 wines was the blend of Shiraz and Cabernet, which in Australia is the traditional dry red, which really the great Australian wines of the 50s and 60s are made of. What I'm finding is that the drinkability is really in the first vintage. As we kind of move up, the Shiraz does seem to dominate the Cabernet. I love the first vintage because the Cabernet comes to the fore. I think that with that aging character, the Shiraz has softened a little bit. I find very similar aromatic profiles across all of the wines, but I do see the tannins get a little bit sweeter as we emerge up through the younger vintages. So really, for me, the only vintage that's really that drinkable at the moment is really the first release, 2004, 2005. This is an expensive bottle of wine. Our export pricing is $230. Our bottle ex-seller here in Australia is $300 a bottle. We only have limited supply, so I have 61 of this, I have 54 of this, I have 10 of these, 40 of these and 190 of the new vintage. So it's something that is an obscure wine, but the proof is in the pudding. And I've just gone through with Ben, our winemaker, and I'm really surprised actually how consistent the wines are from vintage to vintage. I thought there'd be more variability. It's chosen from our best Shiraz parcels here at Two Hands and Bob's best Cabernet parcels, and it's only a couple of barrels each, so it is kind of the creme de la creme of some of the fruit sourcing that we both have. And then we actually have to put it here in a container. We have to air freight it over to California. Bob then puts it in barrel for a couple of months and then he blends it and bottles it, and then we ship it all the way back to Australia. So I don't know if it's worth all of the efforts at times, but when you taste the vertical like I have today, you really do feel that this is a very special wine. As I said before, quite unusual, blend of countries, blend of hemispheres, blend of varietals. It just seems to work. So here in the first release I see kind of really lifted, kind of more Cabernet, more mint, eucalypt, aniseed, some kind of lovely cloves and peppers. And a lovely mouth-filling coating texture, lovely tannins, and what I love are gravelly tannins which kind of emerge across the palate. That to me more Cabernet. So to me, the Cabernet kind of does control the aromatics at this stage, the Shiraz does control the mid palate, and the Cabernet does control the finish. The only one that I really believe is drinkable at this stage would be the very first release. As we move up, they seem to get a little bit tighter. The 09 I think today looks absolutely spectacular, but is it giving a lot of drinking pleasure? No. Will it be a great wine in time? Absolutely. I do think that this first vintage, there's a lot of ageability ahead of it. I think this is still very much a primary fruit phase, so I really think that this has got another 10, possible 15 years. But when I look at the vintages like 08's very strong, 9's very strong, 10 is quite adolescent, it's all there but it's not fitting together at this moment. But I look at 9 and 8, I think they're going to be very long-lived wines. So it's a pleasure to be able to try all the wines today, going to share them with our staff. But a little fun project at Two Hands, Two Worlds. Please purchase one, drink it with your friends. I'm sure you'll have as much pleasure as I'm having today.